Hello and welcome to the first Dennis and Sysis Bowling Green maintenance video of 2021. We've certainly had some difficult times lately, uh, not just the virus, but including some terrible weather. But over the last few days, we've had a little bit of sunshine, and perhaps we're starting to think about the next bowling season, hoping that we can get going fairly quickly. With that in mind, I just want to give you a few pointers about very early green maintenance, and also to help those that have suffered things like flooding. So let's make a start. Let's deal with the nasty one first, which is the flooding. Many bowling greens have suffered with flooding, and people need to consider three major points with flooding. One is the weight of water. People don't seem to realize the amount of weight that is in water. A cubic meter of water weighs around about a ton. So if you think of about a bowling green and you may have had whatever, 2 foot of water over the green, there's a considerable amount of weight. I know I keep going on about aeration, but it's another very good reason why you keep up your aeration program. The two other main problems with flooding is something called silt and contamination. Now, silt is a particle that makes up soil. It's very mobile in water, but it is a great enemy to the groundsman. That's mainly because it has a tendency to settle and block surfaces. So if you do suffer with flooding and you do end up with some silt on your green, we need to think about how we're going to get rid of it. If it's a small amount, allow the green to dry if you can, and I mean dry as well as possible in this time of year. And then consider a very light power brushing or scarification to break up the layer of the silt and try and sweep off as much as possible. Some people say, well, how do I know if it is silt? The easiest way to say that is when your green dries and it has like a grey talcum powdery type surface on it, that's silt. Okay. Try and get rid of as much as possible because it forms a layer. Silt can be very fertile, so it does have some benefit, but it's this capping of the green, reducing surface drainage is the big problem. Now, contamination is a problem with flooding, from anything from sewage waste to some nasty chemicals and things like that. Certainly take advice if you are having to deal with chemicals. Possibly it's flooding water came through industrial sites or something like that. But a lot of the normal sewage waste and things like that will be killed with ultraviolet light. So the best thing to do is when the surface water has gone off the green, leave it for a while. Let the winter sunshine do its work. Don't get trying to touch it, things like that. If you're not sure, please take advice from your environmental agency. And also there are some disinfectants that won't affect the grass available. But I would suggest to you that most problems can be dealt with just sunshine. But please take advice. So let's hope many of you haven't suffered from flooding. And there are a number of things we need to look at in preparing for the green. Generally, in the winter, perhaps you have trees around the green, you're going to have things like leaves, twigs, things like this. Start to get in the habit of removing this, trying to keep the green tidy and clean. Okay. These things will encourage moss and things like that. Again, you might have done work around the green to reduce shade, because now we're going to start to see moss, and we need to be in a situation where we can have a nice clean green to start to deal with this. Just a side point, if you haven't had your mower serviced and reground that by now, please get it done. Think about the old saying about a clean cut. If you cut your finger with a clean knife, it will heal quickly. If you cut your finger with a blunt knife, then it takes a much longer time to heal. Exactly the same with the grass plant. Think about how many times you mowed your green last year. So get the cylinder ground, have a new bottom blade. Remember, for a bowling green, you want a tournament or shaver bottom blade. This will enable you to cut the green at the lower heights. Have the mower serviced, and then you're all ready to go. Okay. Continue to brush the green. If you suffer from dews, things like this, then brushing the green will help to dry the surface and reduce the risk of disease attack. On that point, if your green is prone to some diseases, mainly fusarium, in the next few weeks you may be wanting to think about applying a preventative fungicide. It's far better to apply a preventative for fusarium than to try and attack it when you see it. And the simple reason for that is because I could walk over my green today and it looked absolutely fine. I could come back the following morning and you've got an attack. So most people spray fusarium too late when it's actually done its work. If your green is heavily enclosed, if you've got a high percentage of annual meadowgrass, think about applying a preventative systemic fungicide. Please take advice from your product supplier about which one. But when we're getting into March, this is something you want to be thinking about. If we do start to have a mild spring, you want to spray it a little bit earlier. Please note with spraying that you do need to, if you're going to use a professional chemical, you need a certificate of competence to store it and to spray it. In my experience, it is cheaper and far easier for a club to employ a professional sprayer to do this. It takes away a lot of the risk on the club. You know it's going to be done properly. Okay. Right. It may be time. I mean, I don't know what it's like in your area, but the last couple of days we actually had temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees where I'm from. Very limited. Got frost again coming, but you're going to start to get a little bit of growth. So if you've cleaned your green off, you've removed all rubbish, you may want to just start to think about, in a few weeks, giving the green its first cut. Remember the old saying, a little and often is best. And the other golden rule of mowing is never remove more than a third of the leaf blade. So I want to be cutting my green now, or topping my green now, at around about 10 to 12 mil. Okay. Pick a lovely, dry, sunny winter's afternoon and just take the top off. It'll help tidy the green up. It might remove a bit more rubbish. You don't want to be doing this regularly, but it'll just get you into the start of mowing. It'll firm the green a little bit with the action of the back roll of the mower. Remember, I'm not a great believer in rolling greens. I think the weight of the mower is sufficient. Okay. So try and do that just to keep it. The other reason is if we do start to get a lot of growth, I don't want the green to get thin. So if it does grow, if green grows too long, the sward gets thin. I want this very nice, tight, thick sward. And it's better to start that now than to try and hack the green down later on. Okay, so let's just go back. We're going to clean the green off. We're going to brush the dew off. Always make sure you brush the dew off before you mow. You're going to think about fungicides, things like that. If you think you'll know if your green gets a lot of fusarium, and you think about using a preventative spray. Okay, and perhaps give the green its first cut. Please don't do any of these unless conditions are right. There's nothing better than a nice sunny winter's afternoon to get out and to start to think about doing some things on the green. Okay, right. This is also the time to think about things like ditches, and on flat greens to think about your markings. Some people have a removable lining in their ditches and they will have taken them out. Now's the time to think about cleaning the ditches out. Remember, they can be a place for spores, for mosses and weed grasses and things like this. So it's good to get them cleaned out. If you have got a removable lining, perhaps it's time to give them a clean and start to think about putting them back. Also, On a flat green, think about the markings of the rinks. Is it time to, and again, on a nice day, to get the paintbrush out and to remark them, touch them up, perhaps check them with a tape measure, have a look at the rule book with Bowls England and things like that nothing's changed in the laws, and that you can touch these things up and get your green ready to deal with play as soon as we're allowed to start bowling. So lots of things we can be doing. I please just want to emphasize, don't go on the green if it's too wet or if it's frosty, as you will damage it. And there's nothing worse than seeing a beautiful bowling green with black footprints over it, where somebody's walked on it in the frost and they're what we call burned to the grass. Okay. Don't also forget about the regular operations, the spiking. We've still got time to get in a couple more aerations, deep aerations, before we think about getting a bowling surface. Excuse me. When I talk about deep aerations, I'm talking about sort of 3 to 4 inches, 75 to 100 mil with a solid tine. That helps to get air into the soil. It improves root growth. It allows water to move, and it helps get the green to breathe after the many, many months of mowing in the last season, although obviously we were limited. Okay, so lots of things for you to think about. But again, I know we're all keen to get out there once you see the sun coming through the window, but please make sure we don't work on the green unless conditions are right. Think about early spring. Also think about, if you know you've already got some moss, that perhaps it's the time to think about purchasing some lawn sand or some iron, sulfate of iron, which you can spray on. But you don't want to quite do that yet. Wait till March, and I'll talk about that in the next recording I do. Okay, so let's hope we have a nice early spring and we can get on and do these little jobs. But please, it's important to pick the right conditions to do these in, and hopefully we can all get out in the sunshine and do a little bit. I hope that's of help, and I'll speak to you again in March when we can talk about actually starting to prepare a surface for bowling. And hopefully by then we'll have all had more jabs in our arms and we can get out this season and bowl properly. Many thanks.